and there's only one that's supported by like actual trade rumors and like where I think somebody's gonna go, and I feel like it's pretty much set in stone for me mentally. The first one is the Memphis Grizzlies and the Atlanta Hawks trading. So the Memphis Grizzlies would be giving up Dylan Brooks, Zaire Williams, and Steven Adams for Clint Capella, DeAndre Hunter, and Kevin Huerter. So the Memphis Grizzlies, first things first, Dylan Brooks is a really good player. Zion Williams is a really good player, but DeAndre Hunter is a really good shot creator for himself. He's a good wing defender. He's really good at attacking the basket. And, saying DeAndre Hunter and Dylan Brooks have around the same potential as offense and defensive players is pretty good. You know what I mean? I feel like they have similar potentials, what they can be as players. They have the same injury issues. So, that's those two cross each other out, and that Clint Capella is an upgrade at the center position over Steven Adams. And, you're getting Kevin Huerter, who's a really great three-point shooter. They need shooters on that team. Dylan Brooks is a really good mid-range guy, but they just don't need a mid-range guy when you have Ja, who really operates in the mid-range and then in the paint. So, those two don't fit together perfectly. So, Kevin Huerter could be really the spacing that they need as a team. He's 6'7". So I really feel like that would fit really well. And the Hawks would be, you make that move because you really need a defensive two guard that can go guard the other player's best team, no matter if it's a point guard or a two guard. So Trae Young can rest. Kind of the same formula that the Warriors had, where it's Klay Thompson. He's going to either guard the best point guard or shooting guard, and Steph's going to rest. So they need a guy that can do that. Dylan Brooks is a mid-range operator, so it fits well with Trae Young. They don't really need him to be a three-point shooting guy because they have so many three-point shooters on the team. Bogdan Bogdanovic can be your starting small forward today, and Zaire Williams can be your starting small forward for the future. You have John Collins, and they have Onyeka Ongaku. He was like a top 5 pick in the draft 3 years ago for the Atlanta Hawks. He's a 6'9" switchable center that showed enough flashes to be their guy moving forward, and you could have Steven Adams as his backup. And the Memphis would have Ja, Kevin Huerter, DeAndre Hunter, Jaren Jackson Jr., Clint Capella. They get more spacing that they need as a team. And that both teams are giving up really, really good players. And it's one of those win-win trades that usually trades that happen in the NBA are actually just win-win trades. It's rare that a team rips another team off. So that's the trade that I think should happen. What do you think about it, Chris?
I like the thought put into it, but I just don't think that Memphis will break up their young core so soon. I think they love those guys together. They love the way they play together. They love their energy. Yeah, there's they kind of cancel each other out because Ja's so amazing, but he also operates from the mid-range, and then Dylan Brooks operates from the mid-range as well. But they just love that young core. That starting five they have, they love that going forward. I don't see them breaking that up anytime soon. I just don't.
Yeah, I could see your point, but I would say that all of them are young as well that they're getting back. Like everybody that they're getting back is 25 and under, other than Clint.
I get that, but they haven't built a chemistry over the years. This is like what, their second, third year together
for the Grizzlies.
Yeah. They're building chemistry. I think they're going to try to stick with this young core going forward.
Okay.
Until they can find something that's like amazing. Something that makes them go like, okay, yeah, we can put something next to the job, but right now this works. It does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, so the next trade is the Minnesota Timberwolves trade with the Orlando Magic. I feel like both of these teams are really improved after this trade. So the Minnesota Timberwolves get Jalen Suggs, Jonathan Isaac, Wendell Carter Jr. The Orlando Magic get D'Lo, and that's it. They just get D'Lo. So basically, the reason why this trade works is, first things first, the Minnesota Timberwolves, D'Lo, because he's the third best player on the team and he's going to be always the second highest scoring two guard. There's a limitation to how many points per game he can score. And secondly, I just don't think he plays the right way, where I see him trying to initiate himself end of the game in the shot clock and try to take end of the game shots. You know what I mean? Like, he wants to be the guy, but Anthony Edwards is the guy. You know what I mean? So I really feel like Jalen Suggs is a really high basketball IQ guy, good passer, and he's a good defender as well. So, you know, I think he's going to be a 15-6 guy in the future, and I feel like that really fits what they need. They need those intrinsic passers. When you have Cat and Ant together, that's a pretty special combo. And then Jonathan Isaac, man. Jonathan Isaac, 6'11", and guards as special. He's been the best defender of Orlando Magic for the past 3 years. He's a guy that can be an all-NBA defensive guy. He just didn't see him play last year because he was sitting out, I think, due to religious reasons. Something about the COVID shot and religion, I think that might have been what was sitting him out last year. But he's a guy that shoots a three-point shot, has some upside as a shot creator for himself, but at the very least, you're getting a high tier 3 and D small forward that changes your defense because they don't know how to build around their star players. Wendell Carter Jr. Wendell Carter Jr. is a really good fit for that team because he could be your starting power forward, a backup power forward, a backup center where he can shoot threes. He's good passer, a good guy in the post. And the Orlando Magic, you know, they get to have D'Lo, Cole Anthony, Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero, and Mo Bamba moving forward. And D'Lo's a really big jump there. And I really feel like D'Lo and Paolo and Franz, that team's better after that trade. So I think both of those two teams win after that trade. What do you think, Chris?
I like this trade, actually. I actually really like this trade. I think it gives D'Lo an opportunity to really stretch and grow again and really show us, you know, what we were seeing in Brooklyn and toward the end of LA. You know, like, I think that really helps him because I mean, like, D'Lo had a fall from grace a little bit once Anthony Edwards came into the picture in Minnesota. So I think that he kind of is yearning to go back to being the guy. And I think that in that if he goes to Orlando, he would technically be the guy because he would be technically the best player on that team.
Yeah, I agree. So what do you?
So I like this trade.
Yeah. Okay. So the last trade I have is something that's corroborated by a picture that Donovan Mitchell took. And I feel like Donovan Mitchell going to the Miami Heat, it just feels like such a perfect fit. So I think they're going to get Donovan Mitchell. They're going to trade Tyler Hero and Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry is to make the contracts work because he's overpaid to an extreme extent. People would be amazed at how much money that guy's making. So I really feel like, and they get 2 second first-round draft picks for the Utah Jazz as well. And I just think that, you know, Donovan Mitchell's ready to leave, and I think he fits Heat culture. I mean, the guy's in shape. The guy wants to win. The guy's a winner. The guy shows up when he's hurt. The guy shows up. He's the hero of the Utah Jazz for the past 5 years, and I just really feel like the Miami Heat would love that man. And they have enough defenders with Jimmy Butler and Bam and PJ Tucker to overcome his lack on defense, but they need his shot creation, and he's ready to win right now, and him and Jimmy Butler would be scary. So I really feel like this is something that's going to be coming down the pike, and this is a trade that makes this work.
And I like this trade as well because anything that frees Donovan Mitchell, like, I'm a big fan of freeing Donovan Mitchell.
Free Donovan Mitchell 2023.
Free that man, please. Like, Utah got to do better. Yeah, so anything freeing Donovan Mitchell, I'm happy about. It also makes it scary for the East.
Yeah.
You know? That's scary. That's scary.
Yeah, they need another guy to make that jump. And, you know, there's a lot of guys that could be quasi-available, but, you know, he just fits so many things because he's a younger guy, so he fits the future when Bam and him are going to be the team. And, you know, they have Bam, Jimmy Butler. Those are great passers. So it's not like he needs to be the greatest passer in the world. Like, it's just Jimmy Butler doesn't have to always be the number one guy scoring all the time, every single second of every single game. And I think he fits. He fits the Heat. Yeah, Donovan Mitchell.
I love it.
Me too. Me too.
Anything that frees that man.
Free him. Well, I mean, this is the end of this this podcast. We really appreciate you guys listening to us. Really appreciate. We're really trying to reach those 5-star reviews. We're really trying to reach anybody talking about putting in the comments, subscribing. We're really trying to make this a enjoyable family here. If you're coming from TikTok, we really appreciate you guys. Anywhere from YouTube, even. And we just really appreciate you guys. Hope we keep on listening. We have a lot of unique ideas